Okay, you know the feeling. You've built this amazing new habit, you are absolutely on fire, and then life happens. Maybe you get sick, you go on vacation, whatever it is, and all of a sudden that habit you worked so hard on feels impossible to start again. Well, today we're going to talk about exactly why that happens, and I'll give you a super simple tool to get right back on track.
So, let me tell you about Beck. For months, she was in this incredible groove, making these creative, healthy salads for lunch every day. And it was genuinely life-changing, you know? She felt so capable, so in control. But then, bam, she gets this nasty virus, completely loses her sense of taste. So of course, she switches to soup. But here's the really weird part. When she finally gets better, this simple idea of making a salad feels huge. It's just weirdly intimidating.
And that's the real question, isn't it? Why does something that used to feel so easy suddenly feel like you're trying to climb Mount Everest? Become super frustrated, and if you've ever been there, you know exactly what that feels like. It just doesn't make any sense.
Okay, so to figure out the solution, we first have to understand the problem. And it really all starts with this myth that a lot of us have about how habits are supposed to work.
Here is the most important thing to get. What happened to Beck was not a personal failure. This has nothing to do with a lack of willpower or discipline. It's a totally normal, completely predictable pattern. See, life is full of disruptions. The problem isn't that we get knocked off course. The problem is that we don't have a plan for when it happens. So instead of just hoping we never get disrupted again, which, let's be honest, is impossible, we can build a much smarter strategy. We can actually design a simple, clever way to handle it. And this is where this whole idea of a re-entry point comes in.
So what is a re-entry point? It's just the easiest, most gentle on-ramp you can create to get back into your habit. It is not about doing the full, perfect version of the thing. No, it's about doing something so tiny, so non-intimidating that your brain can't say no. The whole goal is to lower that barrier to entry until it's practically on the floor.
So what did Beck do? She didn't try to jump right back into making a different, complicated salad every day. Nope, she designed a re-entry point. She just decided to make her one absolute favorite salad, the one she knew by heart, every single day for a week. It was simple, it wasn't intimidating at all, and guess what? It totally worked.
And what's so cool about this is how universal it is. I mean, this isn't just for making salads. This works for, well, pretty much everything. Let's run through a few rapid-fire examples of how you can put this to work.
Have you fallen out of that great habit of cleaning the kitchen every night? Okay, don't try to make the whole place sparkle. Your re-entry point is just to set a timer for 10 minutes. That's it. Whatever you get done in 10 minutes is a win.
Or what about this one? You lost your 100-day streak on your language app. Ugh, that feels so defeating, right? So the re-entry point isn't a full 15-minute lesson. It's just opening the app and learning one new word. That's the victory for the day. Maybe you stopped reading before bed and you're back to scrolling on your phone. Instead of trying to pick up that dense novel again, your re-entry could be just grabbing a cookbook and flipping through the pictures for a few minutes. It's still a book, but it takes almost zero mental energy. And hey, this even works for habits we do for other people. Feeling way too tired to read a whole story to your toddler? Just skip the long storybook. The re-entry point is a simple counting and pointing book. It still counts, it's still quality time, but it asks so much less of you.
So all these little practical examples, they're actually pointing to a much bigger, more profound idea about what makes habits actually stick around. And it's not about being rigid, it's about being resilient.
You know, we have this idea that once you form a habit, it's just this smooth upward journey, right? That it just gets easier and easier until it's completely effortless. But that's a myth. And it's a myth that sets us all up for disappointment.
The reality is, well, it's a lot messier. We don't just build a habit one time. We are constantly rebuilding it over and over every single time life throws us a curveball. Think of it this way. A habit isn't a statue you build once. It's a garden you have to keep tending.
And this brings us to two totally different ways to think about discipline. Rigid discipline is brittle. It's all or nothing. The second you hit a bump, it just shatters. But flexible discipline? That's resilient. It's personalized to you. It bends instead of breaking because it knows how to adapt when things get messy.
So let's start to tie all this together. The goal isn't to create unbreakable habits because, frankly, that's impossible. The real goal is to build resilient habits, habits that can actually survive the real world. And if you remember one thing, make it this. We think discipline is this relentless, unstoppable force. But true, sustainable discipline, it's something else.
It is the art of the restart. It's about getting really, really good at simply beginning again.
This quote from the source material just says it all so perfectly. You know that feeling when you think, ugh, I just need more discipline? Well, sometimes what we actually need is just to be more flexible, to give ourselves a little grace.
And ultimately, there is no one-size-fits-all solution here. Real, lasting change is built on self-knowledge. It's about moving past all the theories and getting honest about what actually works for you. What is the on-ramp that your brain and your life sees as easy? That's the one that's going to work.
So I'll leave you with this question to think about. Pick a good habit that you've fallen off of. And just for a second, forget about the perfect version. What is the tiniest, easiest, most ridiculously non-intimidating re-entry point that you could design for it? Maybe even today.